My boyfriend, 22 male, treats semen retention like a religion, and I, 23 female, am fed up with it.
No.
Hello, everyone. So for context, I have been with my boyfriend for 3 years on and off. His semen retention journey started before he met me, and he did long streaks, as he likes to call it. I'm very worried and concerned since he had always talked about it throughout our relationship, but never truly dedicated or practiced it until recently. I mean, I guess for further context, I was a virgin when I met him at 20, I had no sexual partners, and I lost my virginity to him 8 to 9 months into our relationship. We were living together and he couldn't hold himself, and neither could I, so we started having sex and he was ejaculating. It was all normal. He would talk about doing semen retention here and there, but never really did it, until our breakup stages, I guess. Now, it seems the idea is getting worse in his mind. I know I'm messed up for this, but we have a policy where we both can search each other's phones, so curiously, I checked his YouTube history, his emails, and he's subbed to a YouTube channel called Semen Retention Club, which I've seen is just so toxic. The comments left by these men, it makes my stomach turn, and he's shown me some videos, and he says, yeah, I don't agree with that. However, it's so radical what these men say. He tells me his semen is a life force and he won't shed, and he is attempting to practice tantric sex, and he claims there's a benefit to semen retention, but he holds himself so much for releasing, and I tell him it's not healthy, and during sex you should let go, not bottle up, and he just says I'm attacking him. This semen retention thing is making me depressed. No matter how many times I tell him it's pseudoscience, he won't listen. He believes it's his life force, energy, and he won't shed. And I've shown him posts from other women suffering from their semen retention partner, and he just tells me, you should be happy we have sex and you're satisfied. But part of my satisfaction is him getting satisfied too. It's just making me depressed, and now I can't help but avoid sex altogether. This isn't how it should be, and he randomly has made comments that I am hedonistic because I release. This semen retention thing is going too far, and I always feel unattractive, and he tells me it's nothing like that. It's just a belief, and he wants to release when he wants children, and he wants to do these streaks, and it's how he gets benefits, clarity, and concentration. I keep telling him that maybe sometimes laying off sex is okay, but I have a high sex drive and it doesn't cut it for me to have half sex. He won't ejaculate, and then he makes me feel bad when I feel in the mood. It's making me cry. I don't know what to do. But I'm dissatisfied a lot, and he says, quote, I'll see if you're a real person to stick around for it. I am just sick of him randomly talking about it, randomly doing it, affects sex so much, and I just feel like I'm going insane. How can I get him off semen retention?
Coming off with a banger. Holy, how do you do this? Okay, I had to look up a couple things for your story. So, semen retention. Semen retention is the practice of intentionally abstaining from ejaculation, often for perceived mental, physical, or spiritual benefits. Through science, evidence for many of these claims is limited or lacking. Practices associated with semen retention are ancient and have appeared in various cultures, but the idea has been a resurgence in popularity due to online communities. Proponents of semen retention often report increased energy, motivation, self-control, and happiness, while others believe it improves fertility and sexual pleasure. Okay. I just, I don't know. It's hard to get on board with something you don't practice. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Don't really know what to say.
I don't subscribe to this.
I don't subscribe to that. There's also another part. Tantric sex, Tantric. Mm-hmm. Tantric sex is a spiritual, meditative, and slow-paced approach to intimacy that focuses on deep emotional and physical connection, heightens awareness of the body, and the movement of sexual energy for transformation, rather than on the quick achievement of orgasm. I'm confused.
I don't really
get that. It says, rooted in ancient Hindu and Buddhist Tantra, it involves techniques such as synchronized breathing, eye contact, and mindful movement to foster intimacy and a more profound, fulfilling sexual journey for both partners or even as an individual practice. All right, here's what I'm envisioning. Yeah, honey, harder. It's like, no, we need to go slow. And we need to make eye contact. Are you looking in my eyes? Hey, you need to look into my eyes. Why are you looking at the ceiling to the left? You need to look into my eyes. We're taking this slow, baby. She's like, honey, it's been 45 minutes. It's time to wrap this up. Okay. There's another one. Hedonistic. Hedonistic.
Hedonistic?
Hedonistic. The word hedonistic describes something or someone devoted to the pursuit of pleasure or enjoyment as the highest good, often characterized by a lifestyle focus on immediate gratification, indulgence, and avoidance of pain. It's a psychological stance and an adaptive for behaviors focused on experiencing as much pleasure as possible. Quote, and he randomly has made a comment that I am hedonistic because I release.
Yeah.
So because
she's enjoying sex too much.
Yeah. It's just instant gratification. Okay, now that we've got through those explanations of things that were said.
Thoughts.
How do you deal with this? You know, sometimes I could practice. Sometimes I wish I could practice semen retention a little bit.
Why?
You know, for like 5 more minutes.
Not you exposing yourself, I'm dead.
I'm sure we all wish there's 5 more minutes in the tank sometimes. Sometimes you wish for 5 more minutes, and sometimes you wish it happened 5 minutes ago. I don't know, man. But this is taken to the next level. I've heard of this before. I will say this. Okay, there's a podcast I listen to about motocross, and there's a guy that he brought on as a co-host, like an in-studio person to like take their calls and stuff, and he was like an old racing legend from like the 80s. I don't know if you know this, but the vibe of Supercross in the 80s was like riding dirt bikes, drinking beer, and partying. You hear me out. So the story the guy tells, he's like, they used it like their podcast, whenever somebody says something, they'll take that like funny sentence of like whatever words and they'll clip it and they'll replay it on future episodes as like a soundbite. And the one soundbite they got from him was like, I wish I could remember, but he's like, basically he got a blowjob before the racing main event. And then he said, he was shit in the main event. Like he had his semen retention, he had semen release before the main event, and then he couldn't race, and it was terrible. And that's kind of what this story reminded me of. I don't know if it's true or false or anything. Maybe there is something to it, but if you want to practice that in a relationship, I feel like your partner's got to be on board with it.
Yeah.
If you want to practice it, go practice it with no relationship. Just don't jerk off, bud.
Yeah.
But like when you're in a committed relationship, it ain't just about you.
I 100% agree. I don't think that this is something you could just like decide to do like a couple years into your relationship or whatever months into your relationship.
Right? Just
this is something that affects your partner.
Just imagine.
This is so selfish. No, imagine you.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm like, you know what? I did a little bit more research on that because of the podcast. And you know what? I'm going to start semen retention.
No, thank you. Divorce.
Right? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it's a huge life decision for your partnership.
Yeah.
And your partner needs to know how to deal with that. And this one certainly doesn't. I know I wouldn't.
Most people wouldn't. Most people would not.
Like, it's one thing if like they start dating. They're like, oh, my new boyfriend, you know, he told me he practices semen retention. Didn't really understand what that means. Well, you know, didn't clock the red flag at it. 6 months later, just discovered what it really means. No, they had
He's been talking about it.
Okay, so maybe then it is fair. Maybe then it's just how does she deal with it? Because yeah, it does say I had a boyfriend for 3 years on and off. His semen retention journey started before we met, and he did long streaks, as he liked to call it.
I guess I did miss that as well.
So I don't know, but also like, it's like
to each their own. But if this is what you want to do, you can't expect your partner to also be on board. Like you have to. You're just not compatible. That's not compatible. Like if too OP. If this is something that you think you can look past, stay in the relationship. If this is a deal breaker, which it would be for most,
sounds like it is.
It would be for me, and it sounds like it is for you.
I just
move on.
I feel like they're not aligned. You know?
Yeah.
She likes semen. He doesn't like releasing his semen. Just not aligned. They're just not aligned. No.
Agreed.
No.
Top comment. Quote, how can I get him off semen retention? What I'm about to tell you might be the most important relationship lesson of them all. so it's absolutely imperative that you understand and internalize it. Millions of people have wasted years or even decades of their lives with the wrong person because they didn't understand this one simple fact. No matter how bad you may want to, you cannot change someone else. The only person who can change him is him, and it's pretty obvious he has no desire to change. The only thing trying to change someone who has no desire to change will lead to is failure, frustration, disappointment, and heartbreak. No, when dealing with someone whom you've explained your problem with and they still have no intention of changing or compromising, you really have two viable options. Accept and learn to live with your partner's flaw, or leave. Any other alternative to these two options is a fool's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's applicable to, honestly, most of these stories.
I was just about to say, that's applicable to like everything.
Yeah.
Like I've said it, I don't know if I said it in a while, but I've said it in a previous podcast, my old best friend, Marcus. At one point, I was, going through life, and something else happened, and I was mad about it, and I was venting to him. He's like, man, you can't expect people to do what you want them to do. You need to accept them for what they do and who they are, and then decide if that's the person that you want to have a relationship with. You can't change people. You can't expect to change the person you're in a romantic relationship, a platonic friendship with. You can't expect to be able to manipulate and mold these people into the people that you want them to be. Mm-hmm. They are who they are, and you need to decide, do I like that? And do I want them in my life? Do I want to associate with them or not? That's the choice that you get to make. You can only control yourself. You don't get to control other people and turn them in who do you want them to be. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's like life advice. Like, not to mention people like who stay in the relationship, but people who stay in the friendship and expect that person to be someone different. And then you're disappointed when they didn't uphold your expectations that you set on them. It's almost like an unfair thing to do, is like you had set these expectations on somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm just trying to be me. Like, I'm not trying to live up to your expectations. Mm-hmm. And then you're mad at them because they didn't. Yeah.
But like, I think there has to be a line. Like, it's kind of like a gray area, because obviously, like, no relationship, like whether it's platonic or not, like is going to be perfect for each other. Like, you're never going to be aligned 100%. There are going to be things you agree and don't agree with.
Yeah.
And those are just things that like you have to deal with. Like, you're not going to find a perfect person for you.
True.
So it is kind of like you have to give and take. This is like a big thing. I think, like, other things though, I do think like people can change.
Yeah.
If it's like
what?
I don't know. Like like with you and I feel like in the beginning of our relationship, like your communication sucked.
Oh, it did.
And if I had that same mentality, like, oh, I put these expectations on you that you need to communicate better, but you're not, then I'm going to leave. Like, we wouldn't be here right now.
Shit.
I just mean,
the
like,
theory is flawed.
I get what you're saying,
but it's not black and white.
It's not black and white.
It's a gray line.
Yeah.
You got to find the balance in your own life.
So I think
true.
It's just like dependent on the situation. This is something that is like obviously a big deal.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, I don't know, little things.
Well, there was also a point when we were like 4 months in, I tried to break up with you after I took my sister's street bike for a ride. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I don't even know. You're like the kettle that was steaming over because I did something dangerous.
Do you want to tell them why?
I told Teresa that at one section, I got my sister's bike up to like 284 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
For 1 second. Just up there and then back down to 100. Just crack the throttle once.
Back down to 100, I'm sure. I'm sure you went back down to 100.
140. Crack the throttle once, see how fast it got up there. I said, that was cool. We're never doing that again. Slowed it down. And it unlocked a lot of fear in Teresa of getting hurt. And I was like, hey, I do stupid shit. I'm a man. I do dumb shit. We don't live as long. There's a reason women live longer. But I'm like, I can't handle this relationship because I do motocross. I do other stuff. I can't handle this relationship if this is how you're going to react every time I want to go do something fun. Mm-hmm. What happened to me the other week?
Yeah, what happened to you, honey?
Crashed my bike going downhill mountain biking.
Yeah.
Hurt myself.
Yeah, you did.
Teresa was worried about it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So.
What was the point of that?
Well, what I was saying is like, I almost broke up with you because, you were not I didn't want to be in a relationship with somebody who was going to like worry over me and like not let me do things and stuff.
Oh, you don't want someone to care about you.
Right? So there's like, you know, you got to figure out where that line is for you. And I was like, you know, I don't want to be hard on this line right now. Starting to love this girl. You know, maybe it's not so bad if somebody cares about me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe my theory it's not so black and white. It's a gray. You know, where's the line between accepting the person where they're at and we're like, nah, this is too much for me.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Over to you.
Okay, over to me.